presentation will explore the shared experiences of 3 interviewees from different decades and how their primary school experiences share similar and different academic aspects. Sandra attended primary school in the 1950s. She said that behaviour management in the classroom was sending students outside for misbehaving. Students were expected to sit quietly and not communicate with peers, as discussion was not encouraged in a classroom space.
John attended primary school in the early 2000s in a small town on the far south coast of New South Wales. He said that students who neglected teacher expectations and misbehaved were managed by placing them in timeout, and they usually missed out on fun classroom activities. However, there was also a focus on rewarding students that exhibited positive behaviour, with merit awards, incentives such as ringing the bell, and doing fun activities and privileges such as leading class assembly or going to recess early.
Ella attended primary school in the 2010s, and behaviour management was similar to the other 2 decades, as misbehaviour was punished by being sent out of the classroom and having less time for lunch and recess. Positive behaviour was also rewarded, like John's experience. However, different systems were put in place, including table points and class dojo.
In the 1950s, Sandra reported a heavy emphasis on rote learning in classrooms. Students were expected to memorise and parrot information from teachers. There wasn't any room in the academic setting for discussion or socialisation.
Similar to Sandra, John reported rote learning as a learning style used in the early 2000s, focusing on memorisation of facts and repeating that information in assessment. He experienced a learning style adapted from the MGI model, which are modelled, guided and independent learning episodes. This model involved explicit modelling from the teacher and more flexible task and activity-driven learning styles in the classroom. More peer socialisation was encouraged within the classroom than in the 50s, with emphasis on group collaboration for paired and group tasks, rather than individual desk work.
In the 2010s, Ella also experienced rote learning as the main teaching style in her primary school classrooms. Her experience was very similar to John's, as she also reported on being able to discuss classwork with peers and engage in group projects after explicit teaching.
The focus on individual non-collaborative learning was questioned in 1967, as research was published in the Plowden Report that suggests more constructive learning took place when students were allowed to discuss learning in small table groups. This approach to group learning promotes constructive collaboration as well as social interaction with peers. The changes in learning styles throughout the decades that the participants experience confirms the notion that students are able to learn more effectively with inclusive and collaborative learning styles and approaches to pedagogy. Sandra, Ella and John were all exposed to differentiated aspects of the Australian primary school system. While the academic learning and teaching styles have changed from the 1950s, early 2000s and 2010s, the core focus of safe, constructive learning has remained a pedagogical focus for teachers.